position. Annie Power at the last race down. Annie Power has gone but in front of the last length. Melody Light
Try the first time. They're running up towards the finish, and he's mistaken the winning post. He's mistaken the winning post completely. Roger Lockwood and Hoyt Floyd.
For Archibald, Hardy Eustace defends his title, but Archibald is flattened out in second. Then he's followed down right by, he's beginning to power. He's drifting off the true line. He hits fire, and this was coming home. Sure doesn't go better when his fourth Betfair chase, and Cordo Star is still the king. Cordo Star wins.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Tailed Off. This is part 2 of the Cheltenham Festival preview. We are less than 48 hours away from the roar of Cheltenham on Tuesday. How are we doing, boys? We good? So looking forward to it?
Bloody excited. It's Christmas.
Christmas
We're ready
Eve.
to roll. Yeah, Christmas Eve. We are ready.
Well, I was doing
Not
better
wait.
till there was a back for the Mountain Pipers apparently not running off the press. Fuck's sake.
Oh no.
We'll go again.
What did you back in the Mountain Pipe?
The Passing Wife, it doesn't look like it's in there, does it?
No, I thought it was maybe the Albert Bartlett has gone to, but I'm not sure. Anyway, we'll come on to that.
We'll come to that. We'll come to that.
Yeah, we'll come to
Anyway, so we'll be taking through everything you need to know ahead of the big festival. So this is part 2. So hopefully you tuned in and saw our part 1, which was last week. But go and have a look at that. But a lot has changed, I guess, in the last week and a half.
Too much.
Yeah, we'll take you through novice hurdle previews. So we've got the Supreme Turners Potato Race, the Albert Bartlett, the Mares Novice, and the Triumphant. The Triumph. And then we'll do the Handicap Noogies. We've got some Noogies for us on the Handicap. So yeah,
Those are
really
the
looking
real
forward
good
to it.
ones.
I was doing a bit of research in terms of how big it is this year. I don't know whether you boys went to a bigger one, but apparently they're expecting bigger audience, bigger attendance this year. So last year was just over 200k attended over the week. Apparently ticket sales are even bigger than they were this time last year. And Guinness is cheaper as well, apparently. So I think we mentioned that last week.
30p cheaper.
Looking forward to it.
Brings all the punters through, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Was it 60,
a couple of pennies would be useful.
Is it 60?
Last year was the quietest festival probably since they went to 4 days. It was,
Yeah.
I mean, we were there every day, and Wednesdays particularly was not desolate, but it was
Quiet.
pretty quiet. But
Yeah,
I think
very quiet.
hopefully
Yeah.
they're doing the right things to get the punters back through the door, including.
Yeah, well, apparently it looks like they're predicting certainly bigger than last year. But I guess if it's been that quiet, then that'd be why.
Is it over 60,000? I think they're expecting for the. I'm sure they said clubs already sold out for it. So
Nice.
thank God.
Just so we've got super early bird tickets.
So good you got them
yeah.
twice.
I got them twice.
Yeah, loved them so much.
Yeah, I got so early that I forgot I
One
bought
for
them.
you
so
and
I
one
bought
for your
them again.
wheelbarrow, mate. Come
Yeah.
the end of play on Tuesday.
If anyone wants a cheap ticket, I'll be there. Tuesday, front gate. Right, let's get on.
Tickets.
Let's get on to the novice hurdle, shall we? So we'll start with the Supreme Novice Hurdle on Tuesday. What have you got?
Yeah, well, those of you that watched part 1 will know we did a lot of the sort of championship races and the novice chases last time because the nightmare scenario coming into Cheltenham, particularly with novice hurdlers, is knowing which race they're going for. Whereas they removed a intermediate chase for novices at the festival last year, they've still got 3 options over novice hurdles. And then if you're a mare, even a mare's race, we had to leave this one to a bit closer to the time. Unfortunately, all of mine look to be still running. So in the first race, I'm hoping to kick the week off with a flyer. And I think he's one of my strongest fancies of the week. And that's Old Park Star, who did touch 11-4 today, but is into a general 5-2, which I just think is a great price. And it's probably one of those where I've had plenty of anti-post bets, but there's a few on a list where I'm like, these are ones to back on the day. Because hopefully they're not going to get any shorter and you might get a little bit more. And the first race at Cheltenham, they always try and get the favourite beaten. And I think he probably will go off favourite, but this race has changed complexion considerably now that Willie's done an old switchy and chucked Mighty Park into this race, who was vying for favouritism in the Turners. And to be honest, I feel like this is probably one of the deepest Supremes I've seen in recent years. If you think back to last year, Kopek was just so far clear that it was kind of an obvious one to do. So it does make things a little bit more dangerous, but actually I don't kind of like most of the others at the top of the market. And I'd managed to back Mighty Park at 12s. So a little toot the old trumpet for that. So I can let that run and win happily. But my main fancy will be on Old Park Star. And it's interesting because 2 horses moved from, well, I think there was some potential bumper horses, but 2 main horses moved from Nichols to Henderson at the start of the season. The Old Park Star was one of them, and Active Innocence was one of them. And when they got them both, Henderson's crew felt that Active Innocence was actually the supreme type horse and was the speedier horse. And what we've seen on the track is the opposite. So Old Park Star might have been a Turner's horse, Active Innocence a supreme horse, but they've actually gone the other way round. And he won a Grade 2 at the new course at Cheltenham in the autumn. And he just looked so impressive that day. And sometimes with Nicky, he can sit on the fence a little bit, wrap him a cotton wool and keep him away from danger. They actually turned out Haydock in the Rossington Main, and obviously Haydock's pretty notorious for background, but at that time it wasn't too bad, and it was around good to soft. And they say Haydock's, particularly on the hurdle course, is such a tight track. So if there was any doubts about whether he was speedy enough for the old course at Cheltenham, I think he put them to bed in the Rossington Main at Haydock, which was a Grade 2. He absolutely bolted clear, to be honest, and that was the performance for me that I said, this is your supreme horse, because every year people get sucked into Willie Mullins's and some of the bigger Irish owners and trainers, and that often can be proved right, but this just reminds me so much of Altior, because he's a future chaser, definitely, but he's just got the most rock-solid form, and he kind of, sometimes those get overlooked because they're staring you in the face and people are looking for, oh, Mighty Park's the sexy one, he's the second coming, Willie Mullins has been saying he's amazing and everything, but I'm sorry, he's beaten nobody in the maiden hurdle, and Old Park Star time and time again hit the track. And the thing that tipped me over the edge was, of all the kind of going into the Supreme, Time Form have like their own ratings of how they assess the novices. They have him £7 clear of every other novice in the field, and he's currently on 155p, which is the highest rated novice going into a Supreme since Altior, which I've just mentioned. And the Talk is second, £7 below. So you don't even have to take my word for it. A kind of reputable analysis body like Time Form are putting him well clear, and I think he should be sort of even money almost, but because there's a depth in the field, it's boosting the price. And if he's anything like 5-2 on Tuesday, I will be getting stuck in with some readies.
Oh, really?
Here we go.
Layering up.
Cherries are going on.
4.5 cherries.
4.5. He hasn't gone 5 though. Notice that.
Is this
Keeping a little bit back first race. First Mr. Festival.
We've got to say 50p if I lose.
Blow your wad immediately.
Yeah, holiday one. I got 4s on that, so I'm happy with that. Looking forward to looking at that coming in. I think you told me hot off the press. Well, it was probably about 2 months ago.
I wish I'd taken it now.
Yeah, right.
I was going to say that looks a gift of a prize.
Yeah, nice. Good. All right. Thanks, Al. Let's come to you and Duncan. I guess you agree, do you, the Old Park Scar?
Yeah, I do. I can't really add much more to what El said. I think the stats kind of show it. You try and look, and it is a very, very deep race. But when it's on paper and black and white in front of you, you can't argue with what Old Park Star has done. You always kind of look to try and get a favourite beaten. But from his, official rating to what he's done, his age, he's just an ideal candidate for this. When you look at all the statistics of the winners of the Supreme over the last 20 plus years, I don't really see him getting beaten. I think, like El said, 5-2 if you get anything like that, and they normally find the bookies will push out the prices on the day of the festival. So you might get the 5-2, maybe slightly better, depending. Again, as El said, Mighty Park, unknown. What he's done, yes, he hosed in by 38 lengths on his debut, but it was in a nothing race, as El said. So could be amazing, but if you're going based on what we've seen, I think you need to have a horse that has won from listed up to kind of the graded level in this. That's one of the main stats for this race. So obviously Mighty Park hasn't done that. So happy to be on 11-1 as in each way. But yeah, I think Old Park Star is the main bet. The only other one we had, which we mentioned towards the end of last year, was My Daddy Paddy, which was one that we flagged anti-post because it had so much chat coming into Christmas of, this horse going for the Supreme, and he was the favourite at one point for this. And, Dan Skelton was, absolutely loving him. Couldn't sing enough of his praises. So he went in as the favourite into the Formby at Aintree on Boxing Day and he came second to Idaho Sun. For me, the race kind of fell apart. So they omitted, I think, 2 or 3 of the hurdles in the home straight because of low sun. So it just turned into an absolute sprint rather than a test of jumping. So I think he's very, very slick over his hurdles.
It turned into a test of stamina because there was no hurdles.
It was that, but I think it kind of it wound him up kind of quite early on into it, and I don't think it played to his strengths of his jumping, which is what he seems to be really, really good at. So I'm just hoping that he might not win. He's 8-1 currently, but it'd be nice to see the Skeltons have a good old go. And so the anti-post is on there, so I can't not call that out. The fact we've had that. But yeah, Old Park Star is the main.
And I guess, El, you've also got a little cheeky Mighty
Yeah,
Park as well.
I mean, this race is looking all right because, as Duncan said, I also got an anti-post at, what was it, 14, 16s from my daddy Paddy, and I wouldn't give up on him. Obviously got Mighty Park as well, and I fancy All Park Stars up. I got half the field covered, but one way or another. I was having a look at the others, and when I wrote this again, it wasn't confirmed that he was going for the race, so thankfully he is, and the price has come in a little bit. But I was just trying to think of a scenario. Well, who's Paul going to be on for Willie? Because that, whatever that is, always gets backed because it's kind of seen as Willie's like number one. But because Mighty Park's owned by JP, Mark Walsh will have to ride that as the retained owner. So the one I quite like is Leader Dallier, and I got on at sort of 14, so I'm just checking the live price that he is now, and he's best price for 12s. Unless anybody has a Star Sports book, then they're 14s. But yeah, I just thought he was turned over kind of at short odds on his debut for Willie on Boxing Day. But we all been saying all season that Willie had a real slow start to the season. Apparently did some work on the gallops at home, so his horses were kind of a bit slow getting into it. And we always know he trains for the spring anyway. So when his get beaten first time out or early on, I'm never really that put off. But he was beaten by Ballyfat, who's actually turned out to be a decent horse, and he's one of the contenders for the Turners. And then he sort of got the job done properly by a 9-length success over what have I written there? Straight Johns of Gordon. I think that's a correct typo for some reason. He's beat a horse anyway. Oh, Straight John of Gordon's, right? Yeah. So I don't know what I was meaning when I wrote that, but. The horse he beat has gone and won easily next time out, so obviously gives some substance to the form. And I just thought, looking at one that was a bit more exposed at an each way price, I say Leader Dallier could give you a run for your money for the top 3, but I think it's going to be really competitive. I'm looking forward to it.
Nice.
Well, sorry, Matt. The only one, the other one, I won't back him, but I think I could definitely see. I wouldn't be surprised if he was to win. Would be El Carrios. I know that he's jumping is absolutely tatters, but is the speed of this horse.
He won't hit the frame. I'll have a bet with you now.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I wouldn't look at it and go, if he'd win, I wouldn't be like, I'm really surprised that he's won, but I wouldn't back him based on his jumping.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I just think his jumping, like he looked unbelievable before he fell in his previous race. Then he obviously came out again at Thirst and won a maiden hurdle, like very, very easily. But again, he nearly stacked it over the last, and that, and Cheltenham will just absolutely swallow him up if he does that. But it's the speed at which he kind of just puts his races to bed. Like he clears them, and as soon as Jack Kennedy gave him a little squeeze, he was absolutely gone. So, I mean, if he does get a clear run of jumping, I wouldn't be surprised if he was there. But again, I wouldn't be confident in backing him. So, yeah, to just be interesting. I'll keep an eye on that one.
Nice. So what we want Old Park Star to come first, then Mighty Park, and then either, I don't know, my Daddy Paddy or was it Leader Elliott? So yeah.
Yeah, that would be a great result, and I'm going to have the forecast on as well, so that'll be TriCast.
Oh,
will be lovely.
Yeah, here we go.
There we go. Cherries galore.
I think I'll probably just go home then. I think job done.
Shut the satchel and disappear. I'm done, lads.
You've got to do better than last year, surely.
Well, I think if I turn up and don't put any bets on, I'll do better than I did last year.
I'm
already going to do better than I did last year because I'm going to walk in with at least probably like extra 40 quid, 50 quid in my pocket from selling the extra ticket.
Well, that's if you remember it this time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, don't forget that. Do not forget it.
I've got it.
Absolute FIFA rage moment that was, Jesus.
There it is. Get it in the car now, mate. Get it in the car.
I'll put it on the side.
Oh, God.
Right.
Excellent.
Okay. And then, so you boys won't be there in person on Wednesday, but you'll be watching it probably from a pub or something, or at home, or whatever the setup is.
At home,
Anorak corner. Oh, yeah. But yeah, let's get into Wednesday then. So we've got the Turners Novice Hurdle. Should we start with you? What you thinking?
Yeah. I mean, again, it sounds slightly boring, but no drama this end. Who's at the top of the market? He wasn't until this morning when Talk the Talk, which had been pushed into favouritism, has actually opted to go into the Supreme instead of this, which I felt was a little bit strange. I thought he was more of a Turner's horse than the Supreme. I'm all over no drama this end. I think again, this horse is just class. I can't. He's been to. Been around Cheltenham. He's won course and distance. He's really not been troubled in any of his races. He won the Challow last time out in Newbury, skipped clear of the field. He's got pace. His jumping at Newbury was unbelievable. He was so slick. I watched it back earlier on. I was so impressed. I couldn't believe how good he was when I watched it back. I just think this horse I think he's a shoo-in for this. It was one that funnily enough, that Paul Nicholls had flagged this as one of his novices to follow for the season. You can see why. I think 7-2. I think he's still available at 7-2. I think it's an absolute gift. I think he wins so nicely for this. So that would be my main bet. I think I had a look at the form from Newbury because not many horses have run since then, but one that has, it was a horse that finished 4th in the Challow, which is Montemers, which went on to Kelso next time out and hosed in a grade 2 by 6 lengths. So there is still a bit of substance to the form there. So yeah, I'm all over No Drama this end. It's the main bet.
Yep.
And then I'll talk about. Do you want me to go into the each way now, or
Well, let's stick with No Drama, shall we? I think.
Yeah.
You also concur, and you've
Yeah,
got a nice little no run no bet early on as well.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm looking at the prices now, thinking 7-2 is under pressure. I might take that, which I don't want to. I want to wait to the day, but I'm not going to be there, so I might as well take the 7-2 because me and Duncan have had this chat about this horse for a while because this is a similar thing. In recent years, the British have got battered at Cheltenham by the Irish trainers, and as a result, I feel like there's a bit of that bias in some of the prices, being like, 10 years ago, Paul Nicholls, well, maybe more like sort of 15 years ago, Paul Nicholls was a worldie, and like he was respected in the way that sort of Gordon and Willie are now by punters. But it's almost like now people think he can't train a dog to walk because, the disrespect in the price of this horse is ridiculous. And everyone's looking again at the same old suspects. And, yeah, they do win it most times, Henry, Gordon and Willie and Cope and Nicky. But, at the end of the day, if the horse is good enough, it doesn't matter when it's trained. Yeah. But it's kind of like just because it's trained by Paul Nicholls doesn't mean it can't be a superstar again now. So I think this is great because it's kind of making the price for it. And as Duncan said, he won the Challow quite comfortably. Now, what people are crabbing him for is that he wasn't that impressive in the Challow. And obviously, the Challow's got this notoriously bad record for producing festival winners. But who won it last year? The New Lion. What did he do? Come and win this race again. And we said that on this podcast last year, that everyone was saying, Child Hurdle winners can't win at Cheltenham. Of course they can. They just haven't. Just because it hasn't happened for a while doesn't mean it can't happen. And it's the same thing with this. And basically, Nicholls, when he won that race at Cheltenham, he started comparing him to Denman. He got a lot of flack for it. But he bolted in that day, and then very un-Nicholls-like, he was going to wait for the Challow Hurdle Day at Newbury over Christmas. And he saw basically a soft opportunity in a grade 2 of Sandown in between. So really kind of quite tight on the turnaround. Stuck him into that. He won that on the snaff. And as a result, and that was quite bad ground, he was never going to look as impressive at Newbury because the ground was a bit quicker as well, and he had to make most of his own running. So people are saying he didn't win that easily. Yeah, but he would have left most of his race behind having 2 quick races. And he's now had a lovely freshen up. He's been for a race course at Kempton recently. The first 2 races on the first 2 days are probably 2 of my strongest fancies. So I agree. I'm going to take some of it now.
Well, it's quite a break. Yeah, so it's 29th of December since Newbury. So
exactly what the New Line did last year.
Proper little freshen up job. And I like you said, Al, I completely agree. Like if this was trained by Willie Mullins or someone like that, this horse would be 2-1 or under 2-1. I don't understand 7-2 about this. You think this horse has run in 3 hurdle races his entire career, and they've been grade 2 or above, like across them. That's mental. Yeah. And he's won them so well. Like that Cheltenham one, his first opening one, the grade 2, thrown into a grade 2. They clearly thought he was a good horse, and as he proved, I think he's fantastic. I think he's so good. I think this is one of my strongest bets of the week for sure.
And now that Mighty Park's not in it, that was kind of like the unknown, could get done by Willie Superstar.
The anomaly.
Looking at the rest of them, I'm like, I don't think there's anything to be worried about in there. Not like the Supreme.
Yeah, I heard
much bigger price.
Patrick Mullins I saw a thing on Patrick Mullins earlier on. He was talking about Sober, and he said wherever Sober goes, he said, he'd be very interested. He reckons he'll run well.
Money coming in, as Matt would say.
Say again?
Money coming in, as Matt would say.
But the only downside actually to the No Drama end, but again, it's a shit stat, and hopefully it'll be broken come Wednesday, is that Paul Nicholls has never won the Turners in 10 attempts.
Yeah, but that means nothing. I don't get these stats.
But again, that's what I mean. It means jack shit. It means jack shit. It means jack shit. And I hope it.
What people are saying there is because they're comparing him to the likes of Brave Man's Game and Hermes Allen, and there might have been another one that won the Challow, went on to Cheltenham and got put in its place. But I think this horse is a cut above those, to be honest.
Agreed.
It's interesting though, isn't it? It's sort of like, because it's that's driving the price, like you say, El. So it's
Yeah.
I mean, it's great for us because
He is drifting a little bit on the exchanges, which is annoying, but I've just taken some.
money going out. All right, then what's your outsider then? What have you got?
Yeah,
like the
so it's actually
price.
come from the cello as well. When I watched it back earlier on, I was having a look at the horses in behind as well, and the horse that actually I think just finished second to him was Clint Madrick for Toby Laws. That horse was, as I said, no drama this end. Pretty much had to make his own running the entire time. This horse just sat out the back of the field the entire way round. Was on the snaff all the way down the straight, but he picked up very well and he stayed on over that. I just think he looks like he's got both the speed and he's got stamina because he just ran through the line, no problem at all. And I just looked at the price of him, and he's like 33-1, and I just thought that seemed a little bit too high for me considering that. So I thought have a little bit each way on Clint Madrick at 33-1, and hopefully you might get your money back in a bit more.
Yeah, it's 50-1 on Bet365.
Really? I've gone with 365. Weighing back in.
No, yeah, got it. Yeah, that's not that's just anti-post. So it's not no run no bet.
Okay. Well, I can't imagine he's not going to be going there, so I'll probably take the 50s.
Yeah, it's 40s on hills, non run no bet if you want to take that instead.
Safer.
Yeah.
Safer.
Yeah,
we'll go with that.
You might not remember, Matt, but when we were at what is formerly known as the Hennessy Gold Cup Day at Newbury, he won one of the races there when we had the second.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think was it Taurus Bay? I'm not sure who we backed to. He beat.
Yeah, Taurus Bay.
Yeah, who's obviously come up and held the form. So.
Oh, yeah, you're right. On the 29th. Oh, okay.
Could have a squeak.
Have my attention. Interested. No. Okay, I can't put another one on.
Oh no, I've got to have another bet.
You're creating problems for me.
Yeah.
And then, El, what's your outsider then for this one?
Yeah, similar sort of thing to the first race, back in the Nicky horse. And again, I just feel like this one is just disrespected in the market wrongly. I feel like people sometimes are too fickle with the way that they assess horses. And as I said earlier, Act of Innocence is the horse that they thought was the superstar out of the two between him and Opop Star and potentially the pacier horse and the classier horse. And I mean, he won his first race really well at Newbury, and he beat a horse called Sinatra of Skelton's, who I really fancy for the county hurdle, and I think is a decent horse. And the next time out, he got beaten when a short price favourite again at Newbury, but the horse he got beat by that day was a 4-year-old Manali Yogas. It was a strange conditions race where the 4-year-old got such a big weight on that, and he had to give £20 to that horse. I mean, even if you kind of have a strict kind of view on that form, that has him on around like 148, for example, which wouldn't be too far because the Manali Yoga's potentially going for the Boodles. I'm not sure if that actually is declared, but that's got a mark of 128. So given that £20, you could say that it could be rated around 148, which wouldn't be far off a good winner of this race. He then got back on track and won the Sydney Banks, which is a listed race at Huntingdon, fairly comfortably last time out. I don't think he's necessarily the number one to win it, but I just think he's still, what is he now, around 12s?
11s.
Yeah, still 12-1. I just think that's a knock in each way bet.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I just had a look back through his form before he moved to Hendo. He came third at Punchestown in a bumper there, and the horse he finished ahead of is King Roscoe Grey, which is one of the ones he's going up against in this, and Roscoe's half the price.
There we go.
Which seems mad.
It's giving me a lot of problems here. I'm not going to be sucked in.
They've got to sell the house.
Right. All right. Good. Right. That's Wednesday then, and then you've had a day off, chilling. Then you're back into it on Thursday. Let's do the Dawn Run Mares Novice Hurdle, shall we? I'll start with you. What are you going for?
Yeah, I'm just reading Duncan's notes. I'm surprised to see what I'm reading here because I feel like I'm the only person.
Right on.
Well, no, just because I thought he fancied the favourite. So I feel like I'm the only person to basically. I don't know, because so many people are saying it, I feel like I'm like smoking something to not be on the same page. But everyone is saying that the Bambino Fever is like the absolute God-given certainty nap for the festival. And I just can't see it. Well, I can see why she's favourite because she won the champion bumper last year and won well. But she got, absolutely turned over by a horse called Bold Score Outlaw on her debut over hurdles. And I know that everyone's saying, well, that was its first start of the season, and then it went and won nice last time. But I don't think she jumps brilliantly. And I've seen so many of these bumper horses that become hot favourites for novice races at the next festival. Like you think of Fatal Bega, who won the bumper and then was a short price for the Supreme lot turned over. And I think the ground drying out is really not going to suit her because it was pretty boggy when she won the bumper last year. And I don't know, I just thought Old School Outlaws beating her. And I could just feel like 4-1 versus odds on. I'd just
Nice
rather go
price.
that way.
I think that's the reason I would go for Old School Outlaw. If Bambino Fever was odds against, I'd probably go Bambino Fever just because, like you said, didn't have a great start to the season. His horses needed the run. She's a previous Cheltenham winner. I can completely see the case for it, but I would not back her at 4 to 5 on. Like, no chance. Not worth
That's
it.
mad price. That
No,
is.
I just don't think she should be that
Yeah.
short. People are saying that she's an absolute banker, but you've got to remember, I know this is on the new course, but if it does stay fairly dry, which is looking like it will,
Good to soft. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be.
the bumper
Well, it
winner-
looks like it's going to rain on Thursday, though, potentially.
yeah, that's the thing. If the rain hasn't hit the track, because is this the first race on Thursday?
Actually,
Yes, the
yeah,
first
you might be
race. So
right.
I don't think it's supposed to come to the afternoon, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Basically, these bumper horses and the way she power clear, they tend to be stayers. People think, because it's 2 miles, it means that they're a 2-miler, but there aren't 3-mile bumpers. To be honest, they go flat out for a long way, and that means you need a stayer. And I just think that Old School Outlaw looks to have a bit more pace, and she wants probably a bit better grounds. Yeah, might have egg on my face first race on Tuesday, but I'm certainly not. Of all the horses to pile in, that just wouldn't be one for me.
Not a chance. They've burnt my lap too many times.
It's interesting that you, Duncan, your notes there around she'll be in a lot of ACCAs.
Yeah,
Oh God, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. She 100% she will. Like, I wouldn't I wouldn't back her. I would very, very rarely back an odds-on horse unless I was absolutely like, yeah, there's nothing to beat that can beat this. Like Elle said, there is potential for this horse to get beaten. No chance. I would put it as a single. You'd probably put it in an ACCA, like a muggy ACCA or something. It would be best bet if you did want to back her, because I can absolutely see her winning, but at the prices, I'm not backing her as a single. It would be Old School Outlaw for me as well.
Yeah. Good. And then what's the cheeky little outsider there now?
Yeah, I mean, I do try and always find one from the top, one from the bottom, Carol.
Yeah, it's nice.
To
I
give
like
people an alternative.
Different
And-
horses for different needs.
I do think there's unfortunately a lot of deadwood in this, and this race has no place at the festival. But one that is too big a price, and probably I would
Connor's
have
coming in hot.
Do you disagree?
No, I think it is a shit race, but
Yeah,
let the
There'll be a
ladies
mare's
have their
bumper
time.
next year.
Let the
Before
ladies
you
have
know
their.
it.
Don't.
The mare's
don't,
chase,
don't.
mare's novice, mare's hurdle, be a mare's hunter chase, mare's cross country. Just leave it out.
Go roll with the times, Al. Roll with the times.
I thought we'd gotten over feminism by now. Jesus Christ.
They start with transgender horse racing or something like that. Then we're all up the shitter.
Non-binary chase.
Yeah, exactly. But as soon as they're geldings, they're non-binary now. That's what it'll be.
God, this has been a bit of a segue.
Yeah.
Let's get back on track before we get cancelled.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to
Happy
say more
Women's Day, by the
controversial
way,
things to get. Let's do some engagement farming.
Yeah.
One horse I do like at an each way price is Kingston Queen. As I said, she's 20-1 currently. I think she should be around half that price. Again, people are sort of overlooking her, and I can't understand why. She ran decent bumper horse, ran third in the Grade 2 Mares bumper at Aintree last season. Then started off hurdling very well and beat a horse called Cryptic Jim, who has then won his next 3 hurdle starts, including a Grade 2 last time out at Cheltenham in the gloom when I was there, and I couldn't believe they ran the race because it was so dark. And then people are sort of overlooking her, I think, because she sort of flopped next time and quite fancied at Cheltenham, but the trainers come out and said that for whatever reason she just wasn't right. Might have been the time of the month or something. Then she...
Back it now.
No, I'm joking.
Getting worse.
Nah, you're a mate.
That does impact that doesn't say, right?
That is actually a thing, though. That is a thing.
Yeah.
We won't go
Well,
into
I know the time of the month is a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good, mate.
Science lesson over it.
She then won a Grade 2 Mares race at Warwick last time out, and I'd say that probably wouldn't be the sort of course she would like because it's quite a flat, speedy track. And I think she'll stand well up the hill. So I think that's a great each way bet 20-1.
You're not worried about it being a bit too, because that was only a month ago.
Yeah, I think it's okay. She hasn't had a lot of racing. I'd probably be a
Yeah.
bit worried if it got too dry there. I don't know what her ground preference is, but
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the form is going to be turned on its head this week because last year it was still pretty soft at Cheltenham.
It was pretty soft.
And the
yeah.
last few years have been. Everyone says, "Oh, it gets good to soft at Cheltenham," but like, the last few years have consistently been soft or heavy. And this
Yeah.
year,
And she's
and
one on
they've not
heavy, she's one on good, so she definitely
everything.
seems to go on any ground. She's very versatile by the looks of it.
It has rained a lot in
Yeah.
the last. We've only had 1 week of sun, really, haven't
Yeah.
we? So,
Classic
So
Britain.
there you go. Weather
Instant
watch.
queen.
All right, and let's get on to Friday then, shall we? Let's do the Triumph Hurdle. Dunk, let's start with you.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a race that I would get particularly stuck into, as last year was point proven on this. I think that Lulamba ran in this, and there was 2 or 3 horses that were vying for favouritism, and they all got turned over by Willie's horse that had never run
Yeah.
competitively in a hurdle race at 100 to 1, and Poneros. It can throw up some absolute rogues in this. I have backed Selma de Very, anti-post at 7s, so she's now half the price. But that's only because the favourite for JP, Narcisco, has came out, picked up an injury. So that was my main bet for this. I think she's a very, very decent little horse, and I wouldn't back her at the price now potentially, but at 7s I thought was a fair price at the time. So that's my main fancy. I'll let Elle talk about the each way because he's the one who flagged it originally. I think this is got a decent chance to well at a bigger price.
Yeah, go on then, El. So you concur with the same?
Yeah,
main-
does tend to pay to be with Willie in these races. He seems to have the pick of all the French horses, and they seem to be trained so much earlier that they develop into more precocious types and tend to win the Triumph a lot. And obviously, he had the rock solid favourite, Narciso has. When we did our part 1, we said he was a banker of the week. So without him, it kind of throws it wide open. And Proactive in the same colours has kind of just jumped in his place at the top of the market. But I don't think he's that solid. What little he's done so far. And as Duncan said, I was really taken with her run, Selma de Barry's run at the DRF, because and I've heard then Willie interviewed since then, and he's basically said that he was amazed what she did because he hadn't been in her yard long. Sometimes they get them maybe early, sort of late summer, early autumn. That's kind of the ideal time to get them. They can let them off, train them back up again. It's difficult when you get them midway through the year. So I think she only arrived just after the turn of the year. So he wouldn't have had a lot of time to get work into her before the DRF, but he knew he needed to get her out on the track if she was going to go to Cheltenham. And between 2 out and the last, she absolutely cruised through, and he was just drawn to her because obviously the short price favourite, who's not running anymore, was the one everyone's kind of looking at. But you couldn't help but be taken by what she was doing. And then she didn't make a great jump at the last. Understandably blew up needing the run. And Willie said that he's been able to do so much more with her since then. So yeah, if he was still in the race, I wouldn't be backing her. But I think 9 to 2 is probably just about right now. And I have also got on Manila Study, but that was when he was like 12, 14 to 1. I think he's too skinny now, but he's probably the best of the Brits. But the other one I have, and I did actually get on at 33s, so I'm quite happy to see that he's now into sort of 10 to 1, 12 to 1. I think might still be a bit of 14s, is another one of Willie's. Because as we saw with the Triumph last year, you don't have to be on the first string because he had the 100 to 1 winner who'd never run over hurdles before. So don't think that you just have to pick his top couple in the market. I quite like his Mon Cruze. So I wrote this up in the week or last week, and it was still 25 to 1. So he really has come in for a lot of money. He ran in that good race at Nace, juvenile race, and he was absolutely cruising. And it was his first start for Willie. And 2 out, he almost took the hurdle with him. He made that much of a mess of it. Like, he absolutely crashed through it, sprawled on landing. Jockey sat up and just sort of went, that's it now. Kind of, I'm going to let him coast home. But Willie actually put him up as one of his dark horses for the festival as well a few weeks ago, hence why I managed to sneak a bit 33s to 1. But yeah, he's inexperienced, but I just think he could outrun his odds. And he's getting a bit skinny now, but he's still an each way bet.
Still in each way. Yeah. Money might come in on the day, getting there quick.
Money coming in.
Really lovely.
And Dunk, anything else to add on the cheeky outside?
No, that's the one that Elle flagged up to me last week or something like that, and went straight and had a look at the last run. And as I said, he literally fell through. He did everything but fall as he piled through the last hurdle when he looked to be absolutely cruising. So you don't know what he could be, but based on that, he did look a very, very decent prospect. If he'd stayed up, probably would have won. If that had been the case, he would not be the price that he was at 33. Yeah, I think he's a good each way bet.
I'll tell you what, 100 to 1 winner last year. That's crazy, wasn't it? Yeah. Was that the longest longest place,
Biggest
longest
price
odds.
winner.
Yeah, biggest price winner.
What of
Cheltenham
that race
Festival.
or of the Cheltenham?
Just
Cheltenham.
generally.
But well, Norton's Coin won the Gold Cup 100-1. I don't know what year that was, so it might be joint.
Close.
I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
if there's. Yeah, there wouldn't be many
Still
bigger.
pretty
There might
impressive,
have
isn't
been
it?
once upon a time, but yeah.
Oh, love to have a
Dad was on it. Probably had 50p each way.
I was going to say Dave was on it. Of course he was.
value.
Yeah.
Right.
Sharpie.
Let's finish the novice hurdles, shall we? On the potato race, the Albert Bartlett. Probably my favourite named race.
You loved that last year.
I love it. What, potato? Sponsored by potato. Something like horse racing. Go on then, El. Let's start with you.
Yeah, to be honest, of all the races we've talked about, this is the one I have the least strong opinion on. And the horse I'm tipping, I'm not actually 100% sure if he's definitely going to run. So that's.
I don't think he's in it, mate.
Well, there we go then. So, what about the? Is the
You
passing wife
sorted
in
that
it?
out.
Say again?
Is the passing wife in it?
No, can't see that either.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Yeah, the passing wife's 14's in there.
Oh, really? I can't see him on the
Yeah.
thing. I
On
definitely have
Australia.
that then. That's that all day.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was on.
Oh,
I was
yeah,
on.
passing wife is, well, I don't know. It's 20. It's right at the bottom. It's got no price on it though, and on the racing page.
It's
so
on
not-
like bet 365. It's 12-1 non-runner no bet.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I tell you, I'll give you one at a mad price. Because
Go on
I've
then.
backed
Here
him
we
for
go.
the wrong. In keeping with backing horses for the wrong races, I backed him for the Turners, and he got taken out of the Turners, so I assume he's now going to go to the Albert Bartlett, and I think it could be a good week for Ben Pauling. He's obviously got Gold Cup favourite or one of the favourites, and I think he'll have a few handicap wins. But he often does well in this sort of race, and his Mondwi Boy is a horse that is improving every time, and he raced at Ascot last time out. It wasn't much of a form, but Ben said he's literally every week he's just getting stronger and he's looking more impressive at home. And I don't know. I think 25-1 could be a bit of juice. So we'll go with that each way.
Mondwi Boy.
Mondwi Boy.
I would not offer that. Boy.
What would you have said?
Mondo Boy.
Didn't do French at school then.
Nine. I did
Yeah.
German.
Bonnet de douche.
Mange tu, lad, mange tu.
Much too. Oh, and then Duncan, finish it off.
Yeah, so I've gone with spinning a yarn for Gordon Elliott. I think he's best price 12-1 at the moment. There was a preview, a Tassels Cheltenham preview, which was with Ben Pauling and Gordon Elliott.
Ben Pauling was on a Cheltenham preview.
Yeah. I know you're joking. He's been on
He's
bloody
been on every
everyone.
fucking one I've seen.
I was going to say, all I've seen is just Ben Pauling's face littered all over Cheltenham previews. It's like, what's going on here? I've never seen him before.
You've got to get out there. You've got to sell tickets.
That's what he's doing.
I said he's
selling
probably
himself.
trying to sell some horses or try and get people into to the horses. So he's like, right, I'll get my face out there as much as I can. But no, there was one that was mentioned, was actually by Sean Doyle, who's a point-to-point trainer, who I think spoke to Gordon Elliott about buying this horse, spinning a yarn, and he basically, Gordon Elliott called this guy out in the middle of the preview and said, Sean Doyle's got the winner for you for the Albert Bartlett this year and for next year. And the horse he put up was spinning a yarn, because he said he knew from like a 3-year-old that this horse was going to win an Albert Bartlett. And he basically, he said he doesn't really show much at home apparently, but he said when he gets out onto the track, he's just unbelievable. He's a point-to-point winner. So although he hasn't competitively, say, outside of points, he hasn't run at 3 miles yet. This will be his first time at that. He's won at point-to-point. So they said his engine looks fantastic. The ground might need to be soft for him. So if the rain does come on the Thursday and it does go a bit softer, it will be in his favour. But he was pretty sweet on this horse spinning a yarn as the winner for this. So on that basis, I thought, screw it, I'll have a little bit on that. So
Nice.
spinning a yarn at 12-1 is what I've gone for. And hopefully
Lovely.
John Hullen will be watering the shit out the ground as well with any luck.
Yeah. Get the watering cans out.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, it is meant to rain overnight, I think, on Thursdays.
I'll have a look. Is it supposed to be? It's dry though. Tuesday, is it? From when we're
Tuesday
there.
dry.
Wonderful.
Thursday dry until around 3-4
It'd be
p.m.
nice to see a bit of sun.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it does actually
I
look
think
sunny.
Tuesday
It's-
when we're there will be quite nice. Be a
It
bit-
is, yeah. There's cloudy and sunny spells. Get
Yeah.
in.
Be a lot better
Yeah.
than last year anyway.
Yeah.
It's Baltic.
It was Baltic last year, wasn't it?
Mate, you weren't there on the Wednesday and Thursday. It was even worse.
Oh, you had snow, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Had every bloody weather condition, I think.
Welcome to Easter in the UK.
Welcome to the UK.
Oh,
All right, let's get on to the noogies, the handicap noogies. Duncan agrees with all of these.
Yeah,
I
I'm
know
very
that Duncan
hungover
doesn't
state this
have any
morning.
handicap tips for you.
Yeah, no. Just follow well. Follow well.
just follow
I got
up,
one.
basically.
I got one.
I've got
All
one
right,
that's
yeah.
not even written down. This is hot off the press, and money is coming in. So
Oh,
just check the price.
Go on then. Go on then.
Go on
Is
then.
that on a Tuesday?
Yeah, this is on the Tuesday. So this is in the Fred Winter, which is now the what is the funny name of this race now?
Just it's McCoy's.
This is McCoy's Contractors one, yeah.
Boys contract the juvenile handicap hurdle.
Formerly known as the Beatles, formerly known as the Fred Winter. I was just having a quick look because I've managed to obviously get on Saratoga at a good price, and I've had a couple of others sort of. This is always a hard race to get the winner of. And I was just having a quick look down, and I saw a horse for Dan Skelton having its second run for him. And my ears immediately pricked up, and I thought,
Your erection suddenly grew.
Yeah, I was like, I can see a handicap plot unfolding here. It came over from France, was actually placed in the Grade 2, but obviously you never really know how good that form is. And then he came over and ran in the Victor Ludorum, which is always kind of a good juvenile race at Haydock on its first start for Dan Skelton. My God, I mean, he's been doing this all fucking season, but that horse wasn't given a sniff. He was so far out the back, and he comes around the home turn. He starts passing horses because he's obviously better than them. And Harry's like, "Whoa, no,
Steady on, son. Steady on.
whoa, cowboy!"
Drop
And,
the anchor.
Yeah,
Classic
the handbrake
Skelton.
was firmly on that day. I do think he's been given a bit of a stiff mark. It's in the 130s, so he hasn't probably snuck in as light as he may have wanted to. But I just thought that horse looked like an absolute fucking setup job from Dan. And I got on at 28s, I think, earlier. He's now best price 18s.
Oh, shit.
Get on now.
Is
I
he
would.
best price 18s? Oh, let's have a look.
I've
Okay,
seen
right,
18s on 365 live on streamer prices.
Betfair
Nah.
was saying just now 25s, but that's probably bullshit now.
How's that gone? That's what I'm saying, mate. It's coming in already.
It could be
Oh,
bullshit.
wait, Betfair. Is that the exchanges or is that?
No, that's just the main app.
Oh, I take the Betfair price.
I don't know. I'm just checking. I'm checking to see if that is the case or if
18s on
it's lying.
Bet365.
Yeah.
Getting on that.
Money
Oh,
I'm
coming
not
in.
being quick enough.
I did tell you this morning, Duncan, so you can't have a go at me.
You did. I was very, very hungover, so I apologise.
Must have missed that memo.
Burn. Side eye there from Matt.
I would have not.
I don't want to do that to you, Matt, because you'll be back in half the fucking field, mate.
Well, you are, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's how you
Oh
do it.
yeah.
I got 25 to 1. So
Oh,
that'd be
lovely.
nice.
So
I
is that
boosted it as
instead
well.
of Newton Tornado or?
No,
you
no,
going for that
well,
one?
these are, I wrote these a while ago, so these are kind of like, I'm having bets every day.
Just another day, another bet.
We can make it a Dan Skelton special because he'll have had that winner, which will settle the nerves lovely. And then he'll go and win the champion hurdle with the new line. And then just when you think they couldn't get any better, we'll get into the plate, which used to be on the Thursday. And it's blowing my mind that it's racing now on the Tuesday. It just doesn't make sense. But he has unfortunately got the favourite, and so the price is it's getting skinnier all the time. But another absolute setup job is this Madara. He hasn't been with Skelton that long. I think his first start, he was placed in the Grade 3. I think it was the December Gold Cup. Used to be with Leach, and it won a Grade 3 handicap chasing Leopardstown, trained by Sophie Leach. That was it. It was fourth in the Paddy Power at 2024, and then it had time off injured, and he's coming back now. He's still only a 7-year-old, and the run he was given at Kempton last time was so blindingly obvious. I think Skelton actually got pulled into the stewards as a result of it, so he didn't quite get away with it. But honestly, they're just so good at doing it. It pisses a lot of people off, but it doesn't matter if you're on them. So I think Madara will bring the house down if that wins.
Yeah.
In the plate. And then in the National Hunt Chase, go for last year's trainer and potentially jockey combination. I don't know if Sean Bone is definitely going to ride it yet, but this horse I just think hasn't gone up in the handicap enough. And obviously Rebecca Curtis knows what it takes to win this race. It won at Donny last time out easily, like really easily, and it only went up a few pounds, and the second and third have won next time out. So it definitely will stay. I think it's on a nice handicap marks. I'm not sure what price it is now because it is getting snipped all the time, but I think it's around fives.
I think he's not
Might be a
favourite
little bit-
anymore.
A little bit of fives because everyone's on the everyone are on the Irish horses. So yeah, Newton Tornado. That could be a hell of a day Tuesday if they all come in.
Oh, if
We'll try and
So I hope
find
they
some find some bigger prices now. Unless your one is Tuesday, Duncan.
No, they're
What
the
day's
only
yours?
ones that I've.
Friday, isn't it? Oh yeah.
Friday.
Jump Alain in the
Len.
ill-fated
Used to be
French, mate. Yeah. Can't call it the Coral Cup anymore, and I refuse to call it its current sponsor because I think they are the worst bookie going,
wank.
and it's a pretty low
What,
bar.
at
So,
MGM?
yeah. I'll
Don't
call
say
it-
it. That's for me.
There was a great Road to Cheltenham episode recently with Matt Toombs on, and I think he's just like a bit of a brainiac when it comes to like trends and angles on horses, and they get him on once a year, and it's brilliant because he comes up with some interesting stats. And one of the stats he put up was, because basically the net is closing on Willie Mullins, like BHA are just sick of him taking the piss out of him every time he wins races at Cheltenham. He wins every sort of race, including obviously the Triumph Hurdle last year with a debutant. They changed the rules so that you can't be a debutant this year. And in the handicaps, he was winning them. He was winning the Martin Pipe with the likes of Galloping de Champs, and he was winning the County Hurdle with the likes of State Man. I mean, these are Grade 1 horses, and he was getting them in handicaps because they were novices. Now, they're saying, oh, you have to have 4 runs over fences and 5 runs over hurdles. But what Willie's doing is just adapting the whole time. So his new thing is to basically not run them throughout the season and just turn up like he did with Jimmy DeSoy in the Coral Cup last year, and had a run all season so that he couldn't basically show how well handicapped he was and go up in the weights. And it'll just save him and just bang, win the race first time out. And I think he's going to do the same sort of thing with Jumper Len. However, he won a good race at Sandown at the end of last season off £5 lower, so the mark is pretty much bang on. I saw he had a win next to his name. I thought that's weird because he hasn't run for nearly a year. But it was actually a charity race. I think it was at Punchestown or somewhere. And I don't know who was on him because, my God, he made Nico de Boinville look like Frankie Dettori. He was that poor. But the horse had obviously so much in hand in this charity flat race that it still powered clear and won. So that's telling you that the horse is fit and firing. And he won't be, that piece of form won't be on a lot of people's radar because it's sort of, as I say, a charity race. So I think 20-1, if he is still 20-1 for the Cup, Jumper Len is a sneaky one.
Was that the last race, you say?
The third
it depends where you're looking.
Okay, so it's not on Racing Post, 15th of Feb?
Yeah, but it won't let you click on it, I noticed. Because every time I did that, the app crashed. And then we went on Twitter and searched for the horse's name and then found the charity race and watched it that way. So I'd advise anyone to do the same. And then...
Sneaky.
He's definitely not 20s anymore, mate. Put it that way.
Okay. These prices are a little outdated. If you could update the prices. What's the latest?
Yeah. Well, it's saying 20s, but it's not. It's bullshit. It's 12s.
Really? If I that has come in a bit then. All right. Well, he is starting to get a bit skinny then, but I still think he's got a good chance. In the Grand Annual, actually, I've got another one hot off the press. So I might have 2 in that race. One for Gavin Cromwell is a horse called Badger Bull. I always like it because the trainers are always interviewed before these things, about bloody stable tours and previews and all the rest of it. Everyone knows what they're going to say about all the good horses and then they sit on the fence. But it's when they just chuck one in out of nowhere, like a googly, and you just think, he's mentioned that, he's taken the time to mention that, and that's not on anybody's list.
It's a googly.
It's an off-cutter.
Unbelievable. I love
it. Yeah, he's in the Grand Annual. So he's a novice. So, as I say, novices don't usually get into handicaps because they make them run too many times in a season to do that. However, he was running last summer, so he was already building up enough runs to qualify for handicap. He won mile at left stand at Christmas, and then in the DRF, the ground was far too soft, and he basically led almost to the last and then faded. And Gavin just says he's going to be a lot better this time, and now the ground's drying out. It's kind of perfect for him. So he was 20-1. Not sure if he's still the same price. In the same race, I saw someone put up a horse today, and I immediately was like, meh, no chance. And then I thought, let me just look at it. And I was like, oh my God, I really don't want to bet on this horse because of the trainer. But you go, and Duncan, I'm sure you'll do this afterwards, you'll go through this horse's form and you're like, that is absolutely rock solid. So I haven't got all the figures in front of me, but a horse called Highland Legacy, which is John Joe O'Neill, who is one of the hardest trainers to follow in racing because I think he's just an absolute fiddling bastard these days and you just don't know when they're trying. But that can work in your favour if they are trying, so you can get a good price. And if you go back through this horse's form, like he has run against so many horses that have improved and improved and improved. And then he managed to win himself last time out, which he needed to do to get into this race. He actually won at Windsor where he only just scrambled home. But he raced against a horse called My Bandit a couple of starts ago. And that horse has gone and won a couple of times since. And he hasn't actually been penalised that much in the weights. I'm not sure what price he is, Duncan, but Highland Legacy would be a good one.
He's currently 16s.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Yeah.
And John Joe's won the race in the last few years with a horse called Sky Pirate, so knows what it takes. And then on Thursday, we're now going to see the Jack Richards, so the Novices Handicap Chase, which is now back in the festival. There's a lot of chat about Cocktail Divan, and I can sort of see the angle on that. But as I said, Ben Paulin's hopefully going to have a good week, and he did give a good mention to this horse, Meet Me by the Sea, which was third in the EBF final at Sandown, which is a really good race for the hurdlers. And then he's won his first 2 chases. And I just thought it was really interesting that he put him in a grade 2 at Newbury last time out, where basically he would have had no chance in that. But it was actually quite a nice way to have a little prep for Cheltenham, and he was never going to get punished in the handicap. he did sort of trail off, but he was never going to do well at that. So I just thought that was interesting. I've been on this Say de Friend, because that's how we're pronouncing it. The French.
Sorry, you have to go for Meet Me by the Sea. It just says tailed off in the notes. It's written in the stars.
Exactly. There we go. Yeah, Say de Friend in the Potence for Sam Thomas. He flagged this up as his best chance of the week. He's won all of his handicaps. Every handicap he's gone in, he's just kept winning. And the third that he ran against last time out has won since. And I just feel like I don't know, he's quite short in the market now. Everyone's on Skelton, Plotton, Supremely West, who you also can see being a thing, because it's just Skelton, but he can't win them all. So Say de Friend in the Potence. And then before I run out of breath, Duncan, do you want to take one for the Friday?
Yeah, I'll quickly give you the one that I've got is this Kel Histoire, which is good old Mullins in the final race in the Martin Pipe on Friday. Just looked at the stats for the Martin Pipe, the trends in there. So the last 10 winners have been rated 137 plus. 15 of the last 17 winners have had 8 hurdle runs or less. 15 of the last 17 have won over hurdles with 11 plus runners. Aged between 5 and 6, 15 of the last 17 winners, and 13 of the last 15 ran within 62 days. That only leaves one horse, which is Kel Histoire. Horse has been running over 2 miles, and looked at the last time out. The horse stayed on. It is just not fast enough as a 2-mile horse. It definitely needs a longer distance, and he gets that on the track on Friday in the Martin Pipe. So that for me, I mean, I'm on at 14s. He's now 6-1 favourite. So
nice.
I would say that is. I think it's another sneak from Willie again. He's thrown one in there, so I can see him hosing up in the Martin Pipe.
Nice. And now last 2 then before we wrap up.
Yeah. Well, I had the Passing Wife in the same race, but that's not going anymore, so we'll leave that alone. And I'll leave you with another Willie sneak, and in the same kind of sort of theory as the going into to the Cheltenham Festival fresh. This horse hasn't actually run much. I think he's had 1 run this season, and he's in the county. It's a horse called Carbo. He was a good novice entry when he finished 3rd in the Grade 1, and then he basically just wasn't trying the last day at Naas, and therefore keeping the handicap marked down. So I think 12-1 Carbo in the county. Another one for Willie Mullins.
There we go. Another sneaky one. Right. Thanks, mate. That's it. And then it's Cheltenham. Nothing else left. Yeah, really looking forward to it. We'll be there Tuesday and Thursday. So thanks for tuning in. If you like this podcast, please give us a subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Follow us on social media and drop us your questions in the comments. We're on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and all the socials. So until next time, have fun out there. Enjoy Cheltenham, race hard, and try not to be tailed off. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Position. Any power at the last race down. Any power has gone, but in front of the last left. Melody Light.
Right the first time, they're running up towards the finish, and he's mistaken the winning post. He's mistaken the winning post completely, Roger Lockwood, and Hoyt
From Archibald, Hardy Eustace defends his title. From Archibald, who's flattened out in second. Then in third, and right behind is beginning to come. He's drifting off the true line. He hits 5, and this was coming home. 3 to go. And win his 4th Betfair Chase, and